So the new JBL Clip 5 has some very big upgrades on it like Auracast, so you can now pair it up to other speakers. It has a longer lasting battery life and it also gets significantly louder than its predecessor. Overall, the JBL Clip 5 is a very impressive speaker, and today we're going to see how the JBL Clip 5 compares to other micro speakers like the super old Bose Soundlink Micro and the Sony XB100, and it's not even close. We're going to pricing. The Clip 5 has a retail price of $80. It's up there, but I do feel that this speaker can justify its price, whereas the Sony XB100 has a retail price of $60, but it likes to go on sale for $40. And then there's the Bose Soundlink Micro, which is like 7 years old and it still retails for $120, which is insane, but it can be found on sale for $100. Nonetheless, if you want to pick any of these speakers up, they'll be linked down below, or you can always press on the YouTube shopping button.
And if you want to further support the channel, pick up some merch. We have trucker hats, snapbacks, and shirts, and everything is printed on higher quality products, so they're gonna last you a good while. And by buying merch, that helps us produce more independent Versus videos. Thank you to everyone who's bought a shirt or a hat, and let's get subscribed.
So first, there's the design of these speakers. Now, all of these speakers are micro speakers. However, the XB100 is the bulkiest speaker here because it has a cylindrical design, whereas both the Clip 5 and Bose Micro have a puck design to them. But more importantly, all of these speakers are meant to easily attach to your equipment and take on the go with you. Now, the Clip 5 has a built-in carabiner, and this carabiner has been redesigned to fit more things, whereas the Bose Micro has this elastic belt on the back so you can attach other things as well. Now, I like the carabiner on the Clip 5, but the belt on the Micro is a little more versatile because you can more easily attach it to your bike's handlebars. But then there's the loop on the Sony, and this loop is much larger and you can use it in two different positions. Simply put, the Sony is much easier to attach to more things, but when it comes to durability, the Sony is the most fragile speaker here because it has a mostly plastic body and it has a metal grille on the front which can get dented rather easily, whereas the Clip 5 has a mostly fabric wrap body which is going to do a much better job of standing up to constant abuse from bumps and scrapes. But then there's the Micro, which has a silicone wrapped body which is also very durable and it feels more premium. Overall, all of these speakers are good options to take on the go with you, but when it comes to attachability, I think the Clip 5 has the least options here, followed by the Bose Micro. But then there's the Sony, which can easily attach to many different things thanks to its larger loop. But then there's the battery life on these speakers. Now, the Sony XB100 has an advertised battery life of 16 hours, and that's while this speaker is playing at 70% volume, which is a decent listening volume. Whereas the Clip 5 has an advertised battery life of 12 hours, and that's while this speaker is playing at 50% volume, and the Bose has an advertised battery life of 6 hours while playing at 50% volume. So obviously, this is an area where the Bose is really struggling, and 50% volume on the Clip 5 is louder than 50% volume on the Bose, and it's louder than 70% volume on the Sony. And when it comes to charging these speakers, both the JBL and Sony charge via a USB-C port, as they should for speakers in 2024 and 2025, whereas the Bose Micro charges via a micro USB port, which I feel is super inconvenient because everything charges via a USB-C port now. But also, none of these speakers have an audio jack, which is expected for a speaker of this size nowadays. But when it comes to wireless connectivity, both the JBL and Bose can be connected to two devices at the same time, so you and a friend can both be DJ, whereas the Sony can only be connected to one device at a time. But latency is not an issue for any of these speakers, so you can always use them to watch videos with on your phone. But with all that out of the way, let's talk about sound. Now, the Sony XB100 has an upward-firing 46mm transducer and a downward-firing passive radiator, whereas the JBL Clip 5 has a 45mm transducer, but then there's the Micro, which has a much smaller upward-firing transducer and a passive radiator right besides it. And the JBL Clip 5 is the only speaker here that allows you to change its EQ to your liking. But now we're going to go ahead and jump into the sound test. All of these speakers are playing with their stock EQs and they're all playing at 75% volume.
I don't want to risk it all again. but I don't wanna be on my own. It always goes much better in my head, but the feelings end up wasted. So I'm sorry for breaking down when you said you got me. I'm used to being let down, but I'm hoping if I'm falling too fast, then you'll catch me. You'll catch me. So I'm sorry that you might have to see I'm not honest. I promise that I'm facing my ground. If I'm falling too fast, will you catch me? Will you catch me before I crash? I'm so afraid that you'll run out of patience. Trust me, I know how it feels to be hopelessly waiting. Sometimes I don't know if I can even change, but I'm still trying. So I'm sorry that you might have to see I'm not flawless. I promise that I'm facing my problems. If I'm falling too fast, will you catch me? Will you catch me before I crash?
So when it comes to sound quality, the Sony XB100 sounds very balanced. However, when it comes to max volume performance, this speaker is struggling to keep up with either the Bose Soundlink Micro or the JBL Clip 5. And in general, the JBL Clip 5 gets significantly louder than both the Bose Soundlink Micro at max volume and the Sony. And I personally prefer how the Clip 5 sounds over the Bose Soundlink Micro because the Micro has a lot of bass to it, so it sounds warmer and a little narrow. Whereas with the Clip 5, this speaker also has a lot of bass to it, but it isn't overwhelming because the vocals are a lot more pronounced, so it sounds more balanced. Overall, sound quality wise, the JBL Clip 5 is easily the winner here. It sounds more open than the Bose, and it gets significantly louder than both the Bose and Sony. But finally, let's talk about pairing these speakers up with other speakers. Now, with all of these speakers, if you have two of the exact same speakers, you can wirelessly pair them together and get them to play in left and right stereo mode. But with the Bose Soundlink Micro, you can also pair it up to other Bose Soundlink speakers and get them to play in sync. However, the Micro will not connect to the Bose Soundlink Max, which personally I'm not the biggest fan of. And I also have to point out that the Sony XB100 does not have Sony's Party Connect, so you can't pair it up to any of Sony's speakers that are also using Party Connect, and you also can't pair it up to the Sony Ultrafield 1. And then there's the JBL, which is using Auracast, so you can connect it up to other Auracast speakers, like either a Clip 5 or to a Go 4 or to an Extreme 4 or to any of JBL's new party boxes, which are also using Auracast, like either a party box 120, 320, or Ultimate, and you can get them to play in sync. And Auracast can be found on other speakers out there from different brands, but unfortunately, you can't connect your Clip 5 or Go 4 to any of JBL's older speakers that are using Party Connect, like let's say either the Boombox 3 or the Boombox 2 or the Extreme 3, Charge 5, Pulse 5, Pulse 4, Flip 5, or Flip 6, like you can with the Extreme 4, which is also an Auracast speaker. Personally, I really hope that JBL adds this backwards functionality to both the Clip 5 and Go 4 in the near future, because I would really like to be able to connect either of these two speakers to a Flip 6 or to a Charge 5. But in general, if you do plan on growing your collection of speakers, then JBL's Clip 5 or Go 4 might be the way to go. But with all that being said, if you're looking for a micro speaker to either take on the go with you or to use in the shower, I think the Clip 5 is easily the best option here. It gets louder and sounds more open than both the Bose Soundlink Micro and Sony XB100. It also has a much longer lasting battery life than the Bose, and unlike the Bose, it charges via a USB-C port. And thanks to Auracast, you can always grow your collection of speakers. Either you can get more JBL speakers or speakers from other brands that are also integrating Auracast. The only thing is, even though the carabiner on the Clip 5 works great, it is a little less versatile than the belt on the Bose and the loop on the Sony XB100. But regardless, the Clip 5 is hands down the best speaker here because it has the best overall performance at a price that isn't going to break the bank like the Bose.
If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit the like button and get subscribed. If you want to pick any of the products up, they'll be linked down below. And if you want to further support the channel, check out the merch. I made some shirts and hoodies that look and feel great. And you know I can be very particular, so I'll only slap my name on something if I'm really proud of it.